Hello children, welcome back to my classroom. This is Miss Maryam and I'm here to help you with your English grammar. Today's topic is sentences, and different kinds of sentences is what we're going to discuss. So generally, sentences can be divided into three kinds: simple, compound, complex. You can look at the board and see the three divisions: simple, compound and complex. Now I have simple explained here, compound explained here, and I have run out of board, so I don't have complex explained here. Once we are done with these two explanations, then we'll start with the complex. Alright, so let's start with simple sentence. What is a simple sentence? Simple sentence is when a sentence has a subject and a finite verb. Technical terms, subject, finite verbs, right? So what's a subject? What's a finite verb? Now what a subject is, I think all of us know that in a sentence, if someone is doing something or something is doing something, that someone or something is the subject. What's a finite verb? Finite verb is the main verb in a sentence, okay? So what are main verbs? Main verbs are words like play, cry, laugh, eat, sleep, walk, jog, run, etc., etc. Finite verb helps us with two things. It shows agreement with the subject and it explains the tense of the sentence. Now take a look at this example. The girl kicked the ball. What's the subject? The girl. Why is this the subject? Because she is doing something over here. So this becomes the subject. Kicked. This is the finite verb. And why is this a finite verb? Because this is the main verb. It is telling me what the subject did, right? And take a look at this. I have an ed added to this word, which helps me to understand this is in the past tense. Okay? So the girl kicked the ball. This is a simple sentence because it has a subject in it and a finite verb in it. Got it? Let's look at this example. The boy lost the keys. The boy is the subject. Lost is the finite verb. So we have a subject and a finite verb. What kind of a sentence this is? Simple sentence, right? Okay, moving on to another example. They argued over the matter. They is the subject, argued is the finite verb, right? So they argued over the matter is a simple sentence. Why? Because it has one subject and it has a finite verb in it, okay? Moving on to compound sentence. So what's a compound sentence? One simple sentence plus conjunction plus another simple sentence. The combination of this makes a compound sentence. That means if there are two simple sentences and they're joined together with a conjunction, then it becomes a compound sentence. Take a look at this example. Iram walks to school. One simple sentence. We have a subject here. We have a finite verb here, right? Irfan walks to school. Another simple sentence, subject and a finite verb, correct? Now I want to combine these two sentences, put them together as one. What do? I add a conjunction. Iram and Irfan walk to school. See, I put both of these sentences together and I put in a conjunction so that it sounds a little bit nice, and I made it right in a way so that what these two sentences meant, this one sentence means the same. This sentence said, Iram walks to school. This one says, Irfan walks to school, means both of them are walking to school, right? So, I try to combine them using a conjunction which is and the sentence is Iram and Irfan walk to school means the same. Both of them are walking to school. Alright, so that's your example of a compound sentence. So these are the two simple sentences that we want to work with. We finished the work, we went to the playground. We want to combine both of these sentences and make a compound sentence out of this. In order to do that, we have to use a conjunction in between these two simple sentences, and the answer would be, we finished the work and went to the playground. Okay, again, we finished the work and went to the playground. Over here, this portion is one simple sentence. This was another simple sentence, and we combined both of these using the conjunction and. I hope this is clear. Now we want to move on to complex sentence. So let me rub the board and I'll get back to you in just a minute. Hello children, welcome to my class. This is Miss Maryam and I'm here to help you with your English grammar. Now if you remember our last class, we did simple sentence and compound sentence, and then I ran out of board. So today we are here to discuss complex sentence. So let's discuss what is a complex sentence. A complex sentence is a group of words which can be divided in two parts within a sentence. One part being the principal clause, the other part being a subordinate clause. So question, what is a principal clause? Another question, what is a subordinate clause, right? So let's talk about what is a principal clause. A principal clause is also known as a main clause. Now, the principal clause is the group of words in a sentence which can be taken away from that big sentence and can be used independently as a sentence on its own. Because it has a subject in it, it has a finite verb in it, and it expresses its thoughts completely. What does it sound like? It sounds like a simple sentence, right? So, the group of words in a larger sentence, if you can take them out of that larger sentence and use it as a simple sentence on its own, that becomes the principal clause of that big sentence. Okay? Moving on to subordinate clause. Subordinate clause is a group of words which can be used in a sentence but cannot be taken away from that sentence, cannot be used as a simple sentence on its own because it's either missing a subject or a finite verb. If it has both, then it does not have a complete meaning. So this part of the sentence actually depends on the principal clause. That is why it is also known as a dependent clause. Now I've explained to you what a principal clause is, what a subordinate clause is, but unless you look at an example, it's a little difficult to understand. So take a look at the board. I liked the song that Subah sang. This is a complex sentence. Now in this sentence, we have two parts. One is this, I liked the song. The other is Subah sang. Now if I take this portion and talk about this, then look, it has a subject, it has a finite verb, and it expresses its thoughts completely. So that means I can remove this portion and still use it independently as a sentence, the sentence being a simple sentence, right? That is why this is called the principal clause. It is also known as the main clause. Now if you go to the next part of the sentence, leave this be, and let's talk about Subah sang. When I talk about Subah sang, look at this. Subah is a subject, sang is a finite verb. So technically speaking, it should be a simple sentence, but it is not. Why? Because when I say Subah sang, it does not express my thoughts completely. I have questions. Subah sang what? Subah sang where? So what Subah sang? You know? So there are so many questions that come to your mind. That is why Subah cannot be a principal clause or a main clause. It has to be a subordinate clause. And we know subordinate clause is a group of words used in a sentence which cannot be used separately as a sentence on its own because it's either missing on a subject or a finite verb, or if it has both, it's missing out on being able to express its thoughts completely. To be able to do that, so Subah sang this particular part as a sentence on its own because even though it has a subject and a finite verb, it still cannot express its thoughts completely. And that is why it is called the dependent clause. Now we move on from here and let's look at another example. I liked the doctor who treated my mother. This sentence has two parts. I liked the doctor who treated my mother. When we talk about I liked the doctor, this portion can be used as an independent sentence because it has a subject and a finite verb in it. So now take a look at this part, I liked the doctor. This portion can be used independently as a sentence because it has a subject and a finite verb in it, and this acts as a simple sentence, right? That is why this is called the principal clause, also known as the main clause. But when I move on from here and go to the second part, who treated my mother, leave this be for a minute. Let's talk about treated my mother. What's missing here? A subject, right? We do have a finite verb, but a subject is missing, correct? In this case, this portion cannot be used as an independent sentence. It depends on this part to be able to express its meaning, correct? That is why this part of the sentence is known as the subordinate clause, and since it depends on the principal clause, it is also known as a dependent clause. Now we come to two words, who and that. These two are known as relative pronouns. These two are the words which can help to connect the principal clause and the subordinate clause in order to make a complex sentence. So words like that, who, which, all of these are relative pronouns which help to connect the principal clause and the subordinate clause in order to make a complex sentence. There you go, children, that's our complex sentence. If you do not understand this lesson, it's a little complicated. If you have any questions, if you want to know a little bit more, do send in a comment so that I can explain it to you again, maybe with a few more examples. Okay, so this is Miss Maryam signing off today. Happy studying, take care of yourselves, bye-bye.